love the game. I love the hustle, man.
Yo, what's good? I go by the name of Stealth. We got Dope Boy Bush. We back with another video. All net, no rim. What's good, my brother, man?
Hey, I'm chilling, bro. Enjoying this good weather out here, man. How you doing?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir, man. Ready to get into the season, man. The season's right around the corner. It's gonna go by quick. August is pretty much halfway done, and then we pretty much got to get through September, and then like early October it's gonna be preseason. So I'm excited for hoop. You know, you and I are definitely big football fans, so football's right around the corner. Honestly, this is my favorite time of year.
Good time
man,
of year. Yes, sir,
I love the weather. I love wearing hoodies and stuff. I love the football. I love the hoop. I love the food. You know what I'm saying? So the fall, the fall going into the winter season, I love this time of year.
But season, man. Season.
Absolutely. But you know what I'm saying? We are back with another video here to talk about the Sacramento Kings, man. Interesting topic today. But before we get into that, if this is your first time your first time visiting the channel, please consider subscribing to the channel, like the video, comment, let us know what you think about today's topic, which is Bleacher Report. Interesting. I saw this. You actually brought this to my attention, and very interesting, man. Bleacher. So the Kings won 46 games last season, correct?
Yes, they did.
All right. So, and now after the acquisition of DeMar DeRozan, you would think, a healthy Malik Monk, because down the stretch, everybody knows he was injured and things like that. You would think that most people would kind of have the Kings in the situation to where like winning the same amount of games or possibly more, right? I would think,
right.
I would say I would feel like the roster improved, but Bleacher Report, interesting. They have the Kings, the Sacramento Kings, only winning 44 games. 44 games.
Disrespect, man.
I feel like that's kind of disrespectful, man.
It's very disrespectful.
Ain't it?
For sure.
Ain't it, man? 44. So they got us.
I don't see how they came up with that. I don't understand.
Yeah. So I believe they have us going 44 and 38. Was that the record? I don't know if I'm doing.
Yes.
So let's get into it, man. Like, what's your thoughts on that? Well, I'll chime in after you. I'll let you go first, and I'll chime in after you. What's your thoughts on the Bleacher Report? Pretty much saying the Kings are going to go 44 and 38.
Yeah, I don't know what the Bleacher Report. I don't know what they're looking at when they wrote this article up. It was kind of shocking to me to actually see it and read it, and I'm like, whoa, like hold on. Let me send this to my bro to go ahead and see what he feels about it too as well. But for them to only win two more games, and then for you to go ahead and add DeMar DeRozan. Of course, you leave, you lose out in Harrison Barnes and Mitchell, but you bring in him. You got Malik Monk, who's coming back healthy too as well. Then you team him up with Sabonis and Fox. How do they only win 44 games? Considering what the Lakers haven't done in the offseason, the Mavs are going to look a little bit more different with them adding Clay, and then also with the Warriors losing Clay. For me, I still feel like the Kings are going to go ahead and finish at least over 50 games in that standing in the division. So, I mean, for them to say that, it's like, what are you guys basing this off of? Like, why are the Kings not getting their credit? Like, what's the disrespect coming from?
Yeah, it's kind of like you just said, piggybacking off what you just said. What are you basing it off? Because, again, when I look at the Kings, I'm like, okay, so the year prior, they won 48 games, right? The year prior. The following year, which was the following season, which was last season, they won 46. So they won 2 less games last season than the prior season. And then you have them winning 2 less games than last season. So that's 4 less games than when this modern team, the team that we know of as the Kings today. You have them winning 4 less games than that team of the previous 2 seasons. We're adding DeMar DeRozan, right? And definitely. I feel like most people would agree that that's an upgrade from Harrison Barnes. Harrison Barnes, I don't want, because him and DeMar DeRozan, they're not far in age, but I just feel like at this point of their careers, DeMar DeRozan is a better scorer. I feel like he's more lethal offensively. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I feel like he's more aggressive offensively.
He's still actually playing at a good level.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? A good competitive level at his age.
Yeah, no, he had good seasons with the Bulls. The last few seasons, he had really good seasons with the Bulls. You look at this team right now. Again, Malik Monk was hurt, right? So Malik Monk was hurt down the stretch of last season.
Yep.
So taking
you had Herder who was in the shooting slump, as well.
Hey, people forget he was hurt. Remember, Herder was hurt.
Hurt too as well. Yep.
So I'm kind of just putting it all together. A healthy Monk, DeMar DeRozan upgrade from the Harrison position, Keegan another year of growth, getting comfortable. Just as being an NBA player now, I feel like it's going to be another jump. You know what I'm saying? Defensively, with the shooting, the whole thing. The chemistry between Fox and Sabonis, Mike Brown. This is his third year. It's like,
yes,
how don't you have this team? Because to me, when we first talked about this acquisition and everything going on, re-signing Malik Monk and things like that, I'm like, yo, I see this team possibly getting into that third spot again, second, maybe even
for sure.
You know what I'm saying? Contending for that number one spot in the West. And I know some of y'all be like, okay, you crazy. But hear me out though. Denver, I don't feel like it's going to be as good. A lot of people, a very underrated, thing that happened as far as the landscape of the West, losing Caldwell Pope in Denver, that took away a lot. That took away depth with them, because if you really pay attention, that bench wasn't strong at all last season. So
it was not
they were pretty much top heavy. When I say top heavy, I'm talking about their starting five. Now he's gone. That means Christian Brown is moving up into the starting five. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. I just don't think he's as good as Caldwell Pope. Not this season. He's not as good of a shooter. Not as experienced. We'll see. Maybe he could take a leap being in that starting position now. I'm assuming he's starting, but I don't really see Denver. I think you could probably steal a couple wins with them. New Orleans. Losing Valanciunas. Now, people might be like, well, New Orleans had our number. If you go look at those games, a lot of that was Valanciunas going crazy on the Kings. Interior rebounding, scoring in the interior, in the key, things like that. Mm-hmm. So he's gone. He's in Washington now, I believe. Pelicans don't have him. You still a couple of those games that you've lost, because we lost to the Pelicans four times last year, I believe. They swept us. You win a couple of those games, you start really winning the games you're supposed to win, because that's the thing. You gotta win the games you're supposed to win. You know what I'm saying? And that goes for any team who's trying to contend. You don't want to lose to teams that back to backs we were losing, stuff like that. I feel like DeMar DeRozan is going to help that, because again, veteran, could score. I feel like we're stacked. DeMar, Keegan, Sabonis, Fox. I just don't understand what angle Bleacher Report is coming from with us losing.
I don't either. With the acquisition that they made, and the only thing I would say, like, the biggest downfall for the Kings is a lack of depth at the center position and at the four position. But everywhere else, I pretty much feel like they're in a good position to actually push some of these teams, to possibly be like first, second, or third, or maybe even fourth in the Western Conference, to be honest. Mm-hmm. Because when you look at it, Golden State's not as good no more. Losing Clay, and their depth at their bench is not that deep any longer. Mm-hmm. The Lakers didn't make absolutely any moves during the preseason, or during free agency. Sorry about that. You just said it earlier. Denver, with them losing, KCP, as well. So you got sleeper teams. I know we're going to go ahead and have a healthier, Jai coming back for the Grizzlies, Memphis, and things of that nature. Yeah, for the Grizzlies, but I do feel like the Kings can be within that top five of the Western Conference Finals, conference, as long as they keep, this core group together, as long as nobody stays hurt and things of that nature.
Yeah, health is going to be a big thing for the team. But if this team could stay healthy and continue to build that chemistry, implement DeMar DeRozan kind of into, because everybody else has chemistry with each other. But I think he's a professional. I think he's going to come right in, and they're probably already kind of talking about different looks and different schemes and things like that. I'm sure they're already having those conversations. I feel like as soon as training camp hits, they're going to hit the ground running, and they're going to get to it. I can't wait to see this team together in preseason. But so just real quick before we get out of here, how many games do you feel like the Kings are going to win? Bleacher Report has it at 44. We won 46 last year, 48 the previous year. Where do you see this team as far as wins going into next season, or finishing next season?
I honestly have the Kings in a 50-win season this year. I'm going off on the limb and say, look, they've always been hovering around the late 40s. So I do feel like this year they might get into like the 51, 52, 53, you know what I'm saying, wins, I feel like.
Yeah. No, absolutely. I agree with you. I'm gonna say like 51. I'm gonna say like 51, okay, man. Because again,
52, 53, man, max 53.
I feel like the acquisition of DeMar DeRozan is like a 3 to 4 to 5, 6 game, difference. I mean, I feel like it is. Again, we talk about his D. He could defend too. Big body. He's about 6'7", 6'8". You know what I mean? He can guard those wings and things like that. Yes. And they have to guard him, and he's physical. So they're gonna have to guard him on the other end, which is gonna make them tired out, get them in foul, get those other wings from the other teams in foul trouble, things like that.
Yeah,
definitely. I think we're gonna be able to compete a whole lot better against teams like the Pelicans, against even when you go, we only play them a couple times a year, but even when you look at like a Boston, you know what I'm saying? Like now you can look at Boston 5 and be like, yo, we can take y'all. Let's go. Let's go.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? So teams like that, contenders, Miami Heats, you know what I'm saying? I'm kind of going to the East Coast and things like that, but just those are games you got to win too, because you play these teams.
Yeah,
you don't play them as much as the Western Conference. Now we go to the Western Conference, you have teams like Phoenix, you have teams like Dallas. We had the Lakers number last year, and we just added DeRozan. So but how do you think we're going to fare with those teams, like the Lakers, Phoenix Suns?
Like I said, I mean, when games are close now, and teams are not so zoomed in or focused on Fox and sabonis, now it's like, okay, we got to worry about Fox, Malik Monk, and DeRozan. So when it does come down to clutch shots,
sabonis,
towards very close games, Keegan too as well. So when it does come down to close games, that are close, we can depend on a veteran like DeRozan, who's a proven veteran that can go ahead and get you that bucket or two. They can come out there and play defense too as well.
Yeah.
So, it doesn't leave a whole bunch of pressure and weight on Fox's shoulder to go ahead and finish off games.
Absolutely. No, absolutely. Yeah, man. I'm excited about this roster, man.
I'm definitely excited. I am too as well.
I cannot wait to see this team get together during the preseason and going into the new season, just seeing how they look.
For sure.
But yeah, we just want to get on here and talk about that real quick. Bleacher Report, man. I kind of feel like, whoever wrote this article, man, I don't know if you're a Laker fan or you don't really watch the Kings. I feel like, but that is the thing. A lot of people don't really get to see the King. I watch them on a daily basis. Even you're in the LA market, so you don't even get to see them often as much as you would like to. I know it's probably going to change this coming season. You're going to try to catch more games and things like that.
But absolutely, definitely, for sure.
But like watching them every day, I'm like, bro, or every game, I'm like, this team is solid. This team is solid, and I feel like they got better.
They're gonna make some noise, bro. They're gonna make some noise this year, man. And GMs and beat writers and people across the world are gonna have to go ahead and understand, man. The Kings are gonna go ahead and come for sure and make a name for themselves again, and be back up there with the elite.